into this. What does it mean when you have hard water?
Yeah, of course. First off, thanks for having us on the show today. Hard water can mean a lot of different things. It can be anything from that white scale buildup you get on your faucets to the white spots you get on your dishes or glass showers.
Is hard water typically from well water?
Hard water can be found in any water. It can be in from the best city water to the worst of well waters.
Okay, so when you have hard water, is there a test for it? Or is it just you see the scaling on the little bit of the edge of the faucet?
Yep, obviously you got the visual part of it. You got the visual test. You can see the white buildup on your faucets, dishes, all of that good stuff. But we also can do a real test to get an exact hardness level.
So you
for
can
customers.
test for hard water?
Yes, we can.
And then the results are like hardness levels?
Yep, we can give an exact hardness level down to a specific number.
Okay, so once you have that, then does Beauchamp prescribe the solution or the treatment of the water to get rid of the hardness?
You're spot on. I like that, the water doctors. Yeah, based off the water tests, we're able to scope out exactly what a customer might need, and it could be different from customer to customer.
So if someone wants to test their water for hardness, do they call you? Do they bring in a sample? What's the right way to do that?
Whatever's easiest for the consumer. We offer free in-store testing at any of our locations, or we do free in-home evaluations for customers that don't know what they're getting into.
So Jacob, I came in and tested my water. You said it tested fine. However, I don't like the way my water tastes. Can you guys address that and tell me what that means?
Yeah, without a doubt. So with water, there's a couple different areas of concern you can run into. First one being the health issues, the common concerns that you want to make sure you're free and clear of when you get into your home. Lead, arsenic, bacteria, anything that can affect your health. Second group of issues you may run into are the aesthetic issues, the things that affect the taste of the water, stain your dishes, affect your skin, affect your hair. Both are water issues, and both we can help you out with. So if you don't like the taste of your water, there are several other aesthetic contaminants that you could run into, and we can, without a doubt, solve those issues for you.
So does that all come from after you test it and you'll know?
It comes from after you test it, we'll know. There is a group of contaminants that are standard testing, but if there are other aesthetic issues a customer might run into, we'll then come up with further testing plans.
So Jacob, we already defined hard water. We know that you can test the water for homeowners for free. Now it's called soft water. Can you just tell us in an easy, simple way, what does soft water mean?
Yeah, so soft water means a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but really what soft water is defined as is water that tests as close to 0 grains of hardness as possible. Some of the things you're going to notice when you have soft water is your skin and hair is going to have a luxurious, silky feeling to it. And the reason for that is soft water actually preserves your skin's natural oils, which is very good for your skin and hair. On top of that, now that you have soft water, you're going to notice that those pesky stains on your shower glass, your dishes that you pull out of the dishwasher, you're no longer going to have to deal with those. They'll be completely eliminated for you.
It gets rid of the scale, residue.
Exactly. And one of the biggest things that helps with is protecting your appliances. That same scale you get on your dishes, you feel on your hair, skin, is going to build up in your appliances and start to damage those. So soft water is real important to protect those.
So it actually makes your appliances last longer as well. Good morning. This is Higher Up. My name's Adam Helfman, And I want to give a big welcome to 3 new members of the Hire It Done family here in our new Philadelphia affiliate, WMMR 93.3, Blissful Baths, Mr. Contractor, and Chapman Windows. Listen, I've been in this business for over 35 years, okay? I know good contractors when I see them. These folks are the real deal. So whether you're a beautiful bathroom remodel that you need, a contractor who actually shows up and gets it done, or even new windows, because remember, the best window is the one that's installed properly, my friends. Your home will look like $1 million. So these are your people. Welcome to the family, and find them all at hireitdone.com. And this is the Home Improvement Radio Show that teaches you, the homeowner, how to fix, repair, or remodel everything within the 4 corners of your lot. Remember, I'm not a do-it-yourself show. However, I'm not anti-do-it-yourself. I'm just pro-do-it-for-me. So if you're thinking of renovations, you're thinking of hiring a contractor, you want to go to hireitdone.com, because I want to help you get hassle-free home improvement. That's what we do today. And we've got a lot of content to go through today. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that we are in spring. Yes, I said it. Spring has sprung. And of course, as you know, it's also Salt Sale Saturday. If you want clean water in your house, did you know that the best filtration system for your home depends on the water source? Whether it's coming from a well, whether it's coming from a municipal city source, you need to have specific needs. And professional water treatment companies, we have one here in the Metro Detroit area, and they're growing nationwide, Beauchamp Water Treatment Solutions. They perform water testing. In fact, anywhere you are in the country, if you want water tested, all you got to do is take a sample and bring it to a local water company. However, you got to do it the right way. And a company here in Metro Detroit is Beauchamp Water Treatment Solutions, and they can perform water testing. They identify the contaminants and recommend a system that provides optimal protection for you, your family, and your household. And you get multiple discounts if you buy extra units, maybe for your sink, for your shower heads, maybe for the whole house. It's pretty simple. And of course, always ask about financing, ask if they rent. There's all kinds of way to do it. So visit hireitdone.com, click on clean water, and you'll get it. And don't forget, today's the first day of spring, or yesterday was, but guess what it is? It is Water Day. That's how we'll call it. We'll call it Water Day, right? My producer's like, what are you talking about?
Is it National Water Day?
You know, Sunday is World Water Day. Okay. So on 3/22. And by the way, that's what we talk about here. You know, lead in your water, PFAS, contaminants, TDS, total dissolved solids. That's the thing you need to understand regarding clean water. So you gotta know that when you're drinking water, it should be clean. Coming out of your faucet, it's supposed to be clean, but by the time it leaves the water treatment plant and gets to your house, all the pipes, you get what I'll call schmutz in the skuts. It falls into your water, and then you drink it. You get bottled water. Do you know how many people leave plastic bottles of water in their car? The plastic, it leaches into your water. So why not drink fresh, clean water? Water filtration is so important. That's why you have to do that. And 3/22 is World Water Day. That's tomorrow. So you know what? We want to make sure. And by the way, one of our local partners, Beauchamp Water, again, they give away 500,000 bottles, 500,000 bottles of water a year. That's crazy good. The philanthropy there is unbelievable. So happy Water Day, Beauchamp Water Treatment Solutions, fastest growing water softener company in America. You just watch, folks. Now, what do you got going around your house, right? Let me give you some, we're going to call them spring home tips, right? It's pretty quick for the home improvement checklist. But today, because it's spring, even though we always get whacked, a little bit of a late freeze, some snow always comes. But hey, I'm calling it spring. I'm going to stay positive. I am going to make sure that all of us here at the Hire It Done Land gives you the best home improvement advice. So let me give you 5 spring home prep tips right now that you can do around your house. Inspect your roof and gutters, okay? After a tough winter, walk around your home and look for missing or damaged shingles. Yeah, let me tell you something, folks. After this winter, high winds, severe weather, you've got your house needs to be protected. Clear out any debris that's built up in your gutters and downspouts. Clogged gutters can cause water to back up and damage your fascia, your soffits, and even your foundation. Yes, your foundation. Both Detroit and Philadelphia have got hit with ice and snow this season, so this one's especially important, okay? And we want to make sure that you do that. Now, what else can you do? How about a sump pump? Check your sump pump. Spring rain season is here. You know how it says, spring comes in like a lion and out like a lamb? Well, boy, it's roaring. I'll tell you that. The lion is out there. In fact, I just got a new lion. I have a pet Maine Coon, for anyone else to know there. And this little sucker is unbelievable, okay? We call him the Gooch. And this guy is crazy. And let me tell you something. If you like pets, I'm a big pet guy. So I love animals. Anything you can rescue, help, support, we got to do it. So check your sump pump, like I said. Spring rain's right around the corner, right? Pour a bucket of water in your sump pit. Why would you do that? Well, it makes sure that it kicks on your sump pump, okay? And it drains properly. Watch it do that. A lot of people don't even know where their sump pump is or if they even have one. If it's hesitating or making unusual noises, it's time to call a pro, not when your basement is already flooding, okay? A sump pump installed properly is the best way to go. Call a plumber. I suggest get a battery backup sump pump, not a water backup, because your water bill could be outrageous if it ever breaks. Okay. So far we got inspect your roof and gutters. Number 1. Number 2, check your sump pump. Number 3, walk your foundation and your grading. Go outside today. Go to the street. Look at your house from the street. And then walk up to the house and walk around the circumference of your house, okay? Look for cracks that may have opened up from the freeze-thaw cycles over this winter. Also, check the soil around your home. It slopes away from the foundation. You want water moving away from the house, not pooling against it. Positive drainage means water goes away from your house. That's important. When you have gutters coming down the side of your house, make sure that the gutters run the water away. It's not rocket science, friends. It's important that you have that. Now, air conditioning, I know it's too early to talk AC, but now's the time for the proactive homeowners. If you're the type of homeowner that has a great heating and cooling company and you're on they're on their maintenance plan, they're going to be calling you. But get done early. Get them out there early. Get the air conditioning tune-ups ready to go. Service it before the rush. When the temperature hits 80 degrees, guess what? That's when your air conditioning is going to break. It's never under 80 degrees. It always breaks when it's a heat wave. So get it serviced. Have them come out. Have them tune it up. Have them check the fluids, kind of like an oil change, you know, your coolant levels. Make sure there's no leaks. And, you know, you got your filter. And by the way, once the heat hits, remember, they're going to get slammed. You want priority service. At Hire It Done, when we find heating cooling contractors, guess what? We make sure that they know if a homeowner calls from Hire It Done, they get the same service as if they were the maintenance contractors. Now, I recommend that you do a maintenance plan because it pays for itself after the first time. Trust me when I've been telling you this. I've been doing this for 35 years, my friends. I'm born and raised in the industry. I'm a 4th-generation contractor, and I just want to share my knowledge and my experience with you so that you as a homeowner have hassle-free home improvement. It's not rocket science, but it's practical. And by the way, I'm writing a book. Wait till that comes out. Amazon bestseller, I promise. And we'll do a book signing party at all the Barnes and Nobles. Are there any left? Yeah, there's a few. But anyways, now, what about your windows? Test your windows and your door seals. The winter can wreak havoc on weather stripping and caulking around your house. Run your hand around the windows, okay? And exterior doors. Feel for drafts. Did you know that if you can see light through the threshold of a door or through the trim, it's equivalent. This is a statistic, scientific. It's equivalent to an 8-inch by 8-inch square hole in the side of your house. Like in the middle of the winter, if you had an 8-inch hole, heat running in and out. Are you kidding me? Hello, Bueller. You've got to make sure that you have that. Anyways, make sure you check all that, and it pays off in the energy in savings all summer long. So we want to make sure that we're all on the same page there. And of course, you got to look at your home as a system. Everyone knows that, and everyone knows that you need to get that done properly. So if you're not going to get it done right, make sure that you have that. Now, if you're planning any outdoor activities, don't forget, you got to call 811 before you dig. What is 811? Well, in Detroit, it's Miss Dig, right? But in Philly, they have 811 as well. And I've been a contractor for 35 years, like I said. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to give you more home improvement advice here on Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman, and this is Hire It Done on the Beasley Radio Network.
Without a doubt. Without
So
a
when
doubt.
you say soft, and we talked about the silky smooth feeling, some people say, oh, I feel like I didn't get the soap off. Is that that feeling?
It is that feeling. So it's a funny thing with soft water, your soap usage can go down because you're no longer being as harsh on your skin with the soap. The soft water helps to protect that.
So it's a benefit.
It is a benefit, without a doubt.
So now that we know the difference between hard water and soft water, Jacob, let me ask, how does a homeowner get that to the soft water? Is it installing a softener?
Yeah, if you take a look at one of these systems behind us, we got a water softener right there. This is the best route to get soft water, without a doubt. They take salt, they work through a process called ion exchange the hardness in the water for very small amounts of sodium in the water. Scientific process, it's very complicated. We don't need to get into too much today, but long story short of it, these systems do a phenomenal job of removing the hardness from your water.
So Jacob, let's revisit the testing of the water. I know you tested for hardness, softness, minerals and things like that. TDS, total dissolved solids. What does that mean?
Yeah, so total dissolved solid stands for, basically it's a measurement of your overall mineral content in the water, a measurement of everything in your water. So if you got a high TDS, you know you have a lot of mineral content in your water, maybe you should consider being proactive, eliminating those minerals with reverse osmosis, or go further into water testing.
So Jacob, back to water quality and safety. You know, you drink bottled water and you think you're okay, but it's really not. There's a big difference, isn't there?
Oh, without a doubt. They actually say the average American consumes about a credit card worth of plastic a week.
So they talk about forever plastics, and it's in your kidneys and your liver and everywhere. I don't want to continue to add to that. So how can I be sure that if I add anything from Beauchamp that I'm going to get rid of that?
Without a doubt, to ensure you're going to get rid of that, the best route is a reverse osmosis system. Reverse osmosis system works with a membrane. It pulls out all of the TDS, that total dissolved solids that we talked about, microplastics, PFAS, lead, arsenic, ballistic contaminants, and RO takes care of. It's much longer than that piece of paper will go.
Okay, and so if I want to do an in-depth test and bring the water in, you'll send it out. Is there a cost for that?
There is a cost associated with that. We have standard testing that we do at no charge. It's 10 to 12 tests. If we choose to go above and beyond that, need to get a third-party laboratory involved, then there would be further charges associated.
Well, that makes sense. So you talked earlier, and we've in the past talked about the path to better water. And I see behind me we have each component in each step. If someone wants to learn more about that, can they call? Will you come to the house, or do we come here? What's the right way to get Beauchamp to help a homeowner have, or get a homeowner on that path to better water?
Yeah, without a doubt. First steps, give us a call. Like we talked about earlier, those free in-home water analysis. We'll come out and test your water and give you recommendations to find your best path to better water.
So what about in my house? I like my water, but sometimes I see yellow staining in the toilet or in the sinks. Can your system get rid of that, help that, instead of cleaning it all the time?
Yeah, without a doubt. We can help you reduce the amount of time you have to clean your toilets. There's a handful of contaminants that can cause that, but we have equipment that covers them all.
Okay, so I can get rid of that by adding the right equipment.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
Okay, so if I have water in my house that I want to treat, and I have a water heater, does that water that goes through my water heater accelerate the decay of my water heater before I treat it?
Yes, it does. That's a very good question. So water heaters, being a storage tank, most of them nowadays at least, are a catch-all, if you will, for a lot of the mineral content, rust, iron, hardness, sediment in the water. And what can happen is it'll build up in the bottom of that water heater, reduce efficiencies in that water heater, meaning you're burning more gas, spending more money, and on top of that, it'll also cause it to leak over time.
For all my fellow seniors, forget pulling your pants to your chest. Meet Airflexion. Bring comfort down to earth without the grandpa look.
So another question, Jacob. Sometimes I'm in a house that has well water, and not in my house, but I've heard it, and I've seen it in the past, where there's like an odor of like rotten eggs. I know like natural gas leaks, you could smell that, but when it comes out of the faucet, what does that mean?
Yeah, so two main things that cause that in well water. Important thing to note when you're looking for odor in the water is whether it's coming from the hot side or it's coming from the cold side.
Welcome back. This is Higher Done. My name's Adam Helfman. A special welcome again to our Philadelphia audience, WMMR. We've got some great contractors already on Higher It Done, which is exciting. Mr. Contractor, Blissful Bass, and Chapman Windows already ready to rock it out for you. Don't forget, my friends, the best window is the one that's installed properly, as you all know. Can't wait to talk to them and interview and bring that in. And in fact, if you're in Philadelphia right now and you're listening, you're a contractor, we want to hear from you because we're looking for contractors who are 5-star, looking to grow their business in 2026, and literally homeowners brag about them. It's that simple, my friends. And right now in the studio with me is Brian Lee from Metro Home Improvement. He's a big design build contractor, been in the business over 40 years here in Metro Detroit, and he's nationally known because of his experience and been around so long. So it's a pleasure to have him here on the show. Brian, say hello to the audience.
Hello, Philadelphia. The first time getting to say that, so
You're right.
that's a little special, huh?
Yeah, and of course to our brothers and sisters here in Metro Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's what we do here in the D.
Right.
So, Brian, let's get right into the content. You do design build, and homeowners call you for a room addition. Let's just use that as an example.
Absolutely.
They want to add the house. What do you want homeowners prepared for when they call you and say, "Oh, I heard you on the radio. I heard you on this. Or I got you on the internet." What do you want to prepare for when you meet them the first time?
Well, I'd like them to have an idea of exactly what they think they want to do to their home, because, as the old adage goes, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So I'd like them to have some idea of what they want to do. Maybe a little sketch if they want to sketch it out. They don't have to go that far, but, take a pad of paper and put a pen to it and, hey, I want to increase my kitchen by X amount, or we're adding on to the great room. And I went outside, I took my tape measure, and I think 12 feet out and 18 feet across is going to be adequate.
Sure.
I'd like to have some windows in it that face my my west side, things like that.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. So do you ever ask them to go like to Pinterest or online and say, hey, start clicking on pictures and stuff? Or is it too much information overload and sometimes can paralyze them?
Yeah, that's a paralysis. That's a paralysis thing because there's so much on there and they're like, hey, I want something just like that. And I'm like, well, I mean, that addition was $500,000. We want to start there. Oh, no. I was thinking $100,000. I'm like, well, you can't get that for 100, right? So I like them to get some ideas. However, don't focus so much on that project that's on Pinterest or that's on House. Just, get some general ideas.
Inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you brought something up and just now in a little bit of I want to expand on budget. Okay.
Right.
I don't, in my career, my history, yours, it's rare that you get the homeowner says, yeah, I want to spend 50,000 and the job comes in at 50. You know, it's very rare. Let's discuss that conversation with budget. I'm the homeowner, you're the contractor. So, Mr. Contractor, you know, how much is this going to cost?
Got to figure it out. We need to lay it out. We need to come up with, you know, a plan of action and what you'd like to see done. You know, obviously, when I go into a house, I come at it a little differently. I sit down, I draw a floor plan, and do an elevation. A lot of contractors don't have that experience, you know, so they got to get back to them. And, you know, there's a lot of the homeowners got to contemplate, to consider, to evaluate what they want. And, you know, from that standpoint, I've got to sift through all that and come up with a design. And then I'm able to price it out for them, just because this is my wheelhouse. This is what I've always done. So, you know, when it's establishing a budget, I say to them, you know, you got a budget number in mind, and I'm going to have a realistic number that I'm going to come up with here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to combine the both of them and see if we can't come to some middle ground.
Okay. You know, it's actually a really good point. And for everyone out there, if you're thinking of hiring a contractor, budget is really something that you should explore and talk about in the first meeting. Yeah, you agree?
Absolutely. You want to establish a price point. You want to be comfortable. I mean, you don't want to become a house poor just because you want to keep up with the neighborhood.
Okay, so let's talk general numbers. And again, I want to build a room addition off the back of my house. I want to expand my kitchen and the family room / great room, right?
Right.
So it's 400 square feet I'm adding. Okay. In the first meeting, obviously it's an information gathering type of event, right?
Correct.
So can you give a range to a homeowner? Because I'm going to say this is, you tell me, Mr. Homeowner, tell me your vision, your grand vision of how this is going to look when you're done. And then can you respond by saying, okay, now that I hear what you're dreaming about, Mr. Homeowner, keyword dreaming, what you just explained to me or described to me is 250,000 to 400,000. Now, do you bring oxygen? And do you bring a cardiac things to shock the heart?
No, I bring pillows in case they fall. Right. I don't want them to hit their head.
So how do you address and handle that with a homeowner?
So you go, Adam, I'll use your name, for instance. Adam, I can appreciate everything that you've said to me. And I want you to understand that this project has a vast range in pricing. And what I mean by that is we can go on the low side of 200 and we can go on the high side of 450. But we got to settle somewhere in the middle at a number that's comfortable for you. Were you planning on spending that, or did you have an idea that it may cost that? Or were you way off the rails and you thought you were going to get it done a lot cheaper? Okay.
And you know what? And that's fair, because setting the expectations for the first meeting, it is my advice to all the listeners and anybody homeowner who's looking to hire a contractor, over the phone, when you make the appointment, you invite the contractor in your home. Also, as a homeowner, why don't you set the ground rules? Tell the contractor, look, and we're talking about a room addition right now. It's not a window. It's not a roof. It's not a it's not a one trade job. It's a multi-trade job. You're building a big project here. Set the expectations and set the limit on the first meeting. Mr. Contractor, according to Hire It Done, he said for the first meeting, we should learn about each other, learn about your history, learn if you can do the job I'm looking to have done, and then discuss a range of what it could cost based on what I described to you. Is that a fair assessment to say how the first meeting should go, or you want to add to that?
It goes back to 40 plus years of experience. Okay. There's 7 steps to the sale. Okay. The first step is I got to sit down with them. I got to introduce myself, and then I want to ask them questions about themselves. And what I'm trying to do is establish a lifestyle, what they want to use the space for, how they're going to use it, what the kids have done. Are the kids still in the house? Things of that nature.
What's their 5-year plan, 7-year plan?
Exactly. And then what I tell people is this, right? I'm not trying to sell you something. What I'm trying to do is get the job done the way that you would like it done so you can enjoy it. Because anybody can walk in and sell them a job, but are you there for the long haul? Are you going to explain to them, hey, this makes sense. The dollars make sense over the life of this. You know, if you're going to stay there 3 years, why would you spend $250,000?
Right.
But if you say to me, hey, you know what, we're probably going to be here 10, 15 years minimum. Great. You're going to get your money back and then some. It's a smart decision at that point. But if you're going to spend $250,000 and you say we're out in 36 months, I'm going to be like, well, you're never going to recoup your investment. So unless you just want to do it for pure enjoyment factors for 3 years or 36 months, there's no reason to spend that kind of money.
Okay, and that's fair. That's a fair assessment, and I respect that and appreciate that. We're talking with Brian Lee. The company's called Metro Home Improvement. You go to hireitdone.com in Metro Detroit. You type in design, build, contractor, award winning, all the accolades. He's got them. He's been in business over 40 years, and that's what we do here at Hire It Done. We want you, the homeowner, to have hassle-free home improvement. We want you, the homeowner, to find contractors who know what they're doing. We've pre-screened them. We vet them. We actually talk to the homeowner. We check their license, we check their insurance, and we make sure for you, the homeowner, that, hey, this is a company that Adam approves. This is a company that's been vetted, and it reduces your risk as a homeowner from getting ripped off. Brian, you've been in this business a long time. You know as well as I know that there are so many shady contractors out there. Homeowners don't have a crystal ball, so they don't know if they're going to get ripped off or not. It's just framing the job in a way where the questions are asked properly and the contractor and the homeowner agree on these terms, and then hopefully and lowering the risk, the job gets done properly. Yes?
Yes. And you as a homeowner can avoid all of the heartache and all of the pain that you're going to experience with a contractor who's going to take you for a ride if you just listen. And when I mean listen, is if you go on and you go to Hire It Done and you choose a vetted contractor. We have been through the gamut. You called my suppliers, you called my homeowners, you went to my job sites, you took photographs, you interviewed the homeowner, you interviewed this guy. I mean, what more could the homeowner want? You've taken all of the potential problems out of the equation, number one. Number two, people want to spend cheap. You spend cheap today, you spend thousands tomorrow. So instead of choosing a licensed, an insured, a bonded, an experienced contractor, paying a few dollars more on the upside versus you choose Chuck in the truck and Billy because you feel sorry for them. They come over, grab a deposit, they drop off some lumber, and you have a crooked addition on the back of your house. They don't pull a permit. They're not licensed. The city gets involved. You're creating that headache, and then you go on all these forums and you complain. This guy's a scumbag. This guy did this. This guy did that.
Right.
All you had to do is go to Hire It Done.
If you have a question for us this morning, we also have the text line. Don't forget, it's 248-927-1985. Again, 248-927-1985. We got Brian Lee, Metro Home Improvement, one of the contractors here in Metro Detroit. And if you're a contractor in Philly, it's the same thing. You need good homeowners that are prepared. Homeowners need to be prepared to hear a good contractor. What are the questions to ask? Brian, you like it when a homeowner is prepared, don't you?
I do. In fact, I love when they ask me questions.
Right. So like get a room addition. Homeowners will say from the questionnaires we give them, do you have a room addition that you can show me that's similar to what I'm requesting?
At any one given time, I have anywhere from 2 to 10 going.
Easily, right?
Right.
So that tells you that the volume and the way you are doing things keeps the momentum going. It keeps your finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Absolutely. And I say to homeowners all the time, so have you had any other estimates? Oh, yeah, we had 3 other guys. And what do the other guys tell you? Wow, 2 of them were just crazy. They're out in left field. Do they have any jobs going on? Yeah, they didn't have anything going on at the moment. Okay. And why didn't they have any jobs? Oh, they said, they just got done with a bunch of jobs.
Okay.
That's horse pucky.
Yeah, well, there's the thing. So for everyone out there, finding a good contractor, it takes effort. Trust me, it takes good questions. It takes a little bit of patience because when you're doing a room addition, especially one that's several $100,000, it's almost like a relationship / marriage / divorce with a contractor.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a good friendly ending when things are done right.
Absolutely. I agree with you 1,000%.
And that's what we want to make sure of. So if someone says to you, Brian, and let's go down the path now. Homeowner says, I've read, and by the way, I don't recommend this, but I'm going to bring it up. I've read that if you're going to deal with a contractor, you need to make a penalty if the job takes longer than he says. Would you entertain that ever with a homeowner?
Only if it works in my favor as well. Like it'll be a penalty if you don't let me in on time, if you shoo us out of here, if you make a bunch of changes that aren't on the original contract, if you pick other things that aren't on the original contract.
Okay, so it goes both ways.
It does 100%. You can't have it both ways.
Well, that's what I said. So I always tell homeowners and I tell contractors this, and you and I have had this conversation in the past. If a homeowner requires a penalty clause for taking too long, then equally the contractor should get a bonus clause for getting the job done early. And then you define the parameters of what early means and what late means. Correct?
Correct. But you try that with a homeowner. When you meet the bonus clause as the contractor, you'll never get the money.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's setting the job up for failure. Now, how important are lawyers in home improvement? Because in my opinion, hiring a lawyer in a good law firm, sometimes homeowners are like, yeah, I got burned before. I'm going to have my lawyer review the contract.
Okay.
Brian, you are no stranger to home improvement. You're a veteran. So you've seen the whole thing with legal both ways.
Correct.
Yeah, me too.
Correct.
And I'm not ashamed of it, but I will say this. I think lawyers sometimes are a necessity for some homeowners. Not always, because someone like you, it's a low risk, right? You're going to write what they're getting, and in the scope of work, you write what they're not getting. But sometimes the homeowner can be a pain in the butt, and they can be the reason why you want to fire them.
Here's where a lawyer comes into play, right? 8 out of 10 contractors don't write contracts. They write proposals. So they go to Office Max or Office Depot. I don't even know who's around anymore. Staples,
ChatGPT.
right? Yeah. And they buy these pre-printed forms in a book, and they're called an estimate or a proposal. We actually write contractors or contracts rather. So ours are 8.5 by 14.
Yep.
And they get the old 8.5 by 11 and some line items on it, and they write on there and they go, yep, this is what we're going to do. All right. So they said that's what they're going to do. What are they not going to do?
Well, that's what I say. And by the way, here's a nice tip for all our listeners. When you get a proposal, and Brian just clarified, there's one thing called a proposal, and then there's the contract. But when the proposal gets converted to a contract, and a lot of just homeowners, just sign the proposal. But here's the thing. When the contractor writes the proposal for you, I always tell homeowners, take a look at it, review it, then hand it back to the contractor, whether it's via email, via in-person. I prefer in-person, and say, Mr. Contractor, I appreciate this roadmap, but I need you to write in this proposal what's not included. Now, you already do that proactively, Brian, which we know.
100%.
But what this does for everyone out there, when you give a contractor the proposal and you say, please add what's not included, it allows you to show the contractor, number one, that you're really serious. And number two, it makes the contractor think, oh, maybe I should review this and see if there's something I didn't include. It makes him think. That's a win-win for everyone. Now, after that's done, remember, the advice we give here is have the contractor write the proposal like a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning is design, permits, planning, staging, The middle is roughs, framing and all that stuff. And then the end is usable completion.
Okay.
Would you agree with that so far, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, the first line item on my contracts are it says work to be done at existing address. Right? So
Sure.
I'm now starting the story, number one. And then number one is how I'm building out the job, right?
Yeah.
Draw a set of blueprints to apply for city permits. Number two,
Yeah.
apply for permits, obtain permits for job.
Right.
Number three,
Chapter 3.
upon
Yeah.
acceptance of permit or upon the acceptance of permits, work to commence as follows. Number four, if I'm doing a room addition, dig foundation,
Right.
and then I lay out the foundation. Number five, haul away dirt from foundation, and I build it all the way through. Sometimes I'll have 8 contracts.
Okay. Well,
One of 8.
Yeah. By the way, the more the better. And I tell homeowners, you can tell your contractor to write this contract like you're in 6th grade. Make it easy. And we're okay with that. Okay. The key here is that everyone needs to understand what they're getting, and equally what they're not getting. 248-927-1985. That's the text number. You can text us a question if you're listening at Hire It Done. And also, by the way, every Saturday it's Shout Out Saturday. So I want to give a shout out to Blissful Baths out in Philly, Mr. Contractor, and Chapman Windows, all listening to the show today. Thank you guys. And if you're a contractor out in the Philly market, we want to hear from you. Go to hireitdone.com, click on Ask Adam. You can find us all over social media. We're at almost 200,000 followers now, and it's growing really quickly. Brian, how long have you been around in business?
This is year 42 for me. So I've been around just a couple years, I guess.
Not bad.
No.
96% of all contractors fail in the first 5 years. Did you know that?
I would say it's probably quicker than that in some of the trades, like roofing. Average roofers in and out of business within 3 years.
Yeah. How important is it to be licensed?
I mean, if you're going to be a contractor and you're going to do work for people, if you don't have a license, shame on you and shame on the homeowner for choosing somebody. It's the most important step. Secondly, followed up with having the proper insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this. Homeowners go with you. You're building a room addition. Okay. 400 square foot. Big job.
Yeah.
Vaulted ceilings, beautiful windows, low E, double pane, and it's all done. Homeowner says to you, all right, we're ready to get started. We're excited. You got the permits. They ask you, Brian, tell me what to expect on this project. What kind of picture do you paint for them after they've signed with you? They're giving you the deposit, your permit's ready, you've got lumber delivered, foundations are getting started. Tell me, what are you going to tell the homeowner when they say to you, Brian, how's this going to go?
We walk them through the steps. There's an introduction of the project manager that's assigned to the job. He goes over it in great detail with them. Hey, we're going to have machinery out here on Thursday. 8 a.m. Here's what's coming out. We got a mini excavator. We got a Bobcat. We've got a dump trailer. We got a dump truck. We're gonna lay it out. We're gonna dig your foundation. We're gonna haul away your dirt. This is the first step. Then secondly, we're gonna have a concrete truck that's scheduled the next day after inspection. As soon as we pass inspection, we're gonna have the concrete truck come. We're gonna pour footings, and then upon the footings being poured, we're gonna let them sit for a couple of days. And then the next things come in is going to be the block mason, and he's going to come in and lay the block and install the block. And, then we're going to have that all parched. We're going to parge the block, and they'll say, well, what's parging? We'll say, well, that's where we pour the block solid. We put the bolts in so we can attach your plates to it, and we can start the build.
So, what about the actual start and stop, daily routines, cleanups, the impact? And this is for my homeowners who are listening to us right now. This is where you need to listen very carefully. When you impact your lifestyle, homeowners have a comfort zone. You get up in the morning, you get dressed, you go to work, get the kids to school, you work all day, you come home. Sometimes you work from home and you're stressed. You want to relax. You want to sit on your lazy boy. You want to go outside on the deck, have a drink, whatever. But now there's lumber, there's visqueen. There's dust, there's drywall mud, there's parging, there's block work, there's days of rain, there's days no one shows up. Brian, you're the pro, 40 plus years. Paint the picture for me, the homeowner who's never done this before, how to survive this. What am I expecting? When I'm freaking out, is it Jack Daniels, Xanax, or a phone call to you?
Could be all three.
Right?
We'll call that the trifecta. It could be all three.
This is what we're talking. This is the rock and roll of home improvement here.
Right. So here's what I tell everybody. It's going to be stressful at first, but it shouldn't be stressful for you. It should be stressful for me because the expectation is on me, not on you. Okay? I'm going to go over the job with you, and I'm going to let you know what the pitfalls could be and where they may lay. However, don't get stressed out because you're living in the house that we're working on and we're doing construction to, and you've chose to do that. So you're going to live on a construction site. No different if you go to a build and they're building apartments, right? And
sure.
You're going to camp out on the bottom floor with you and your family while they're constructing with steel, and they've got concrete and metal and rebar and everything else. You get to see it as it's being built. It's just like buying groceries,
sure.
Right? You go to the bakery, You don't go in the back and you say, hey, I want to see how you guys are making the I want to see how you're making the mixture, and I want to see how you're making the icing for the cake for my kids' communion.
Yeah.
Right? You walk in, you say, hey, I want a sheet cake.
I need the 11 herbs and spices.
Right. And you get to buy the sheet cake and you see it all done.
Correct.
Right? Instead of going through the whole process where you'd be stressed out. Did you put enough vanilla in there? Did you put enough frosting in there?
So you tell, do you have the rules? Will you say to the contractor or the homeowners, listen, I understand there's YouTube. I understand you just watched HGTV and in 28 minutes, they remodeled the whole house.
Right.
So you have to actually like temper this, right?
We do. Yeah.
And then you tell the homeowner, listen, there's going to be a day in this job that you're going to be mad at me. You're going to be upset. You're going to doubt me. You're going to be wanting to kill me. Do you prepare them for that?
100%. 100%. They're all asking, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a project manager for a major automotive supplier. And when you work on a project, how long do they give you to do it? Oh, I get 12 months to work on a project to get it from ground to up and running. I say, okay, so you got 12 months.
Yeah.
Now, can you get it done in 3 days?
Yeah.
No. You think I can get this done in 3 days? No. Calm down.
So
take your
communication,
Xanax or Jack Daniels.
the communication is important. And that's what I
Yes.
wanted to make sure we're talking about here. We got Brian Lee, Metro Home Improvement out of Metro Detroit. You're one of the design build contractors, one of the most knowledgeable in the country. And if you're a contractor and you're listening, get a hold of us. Adam@hireitdone.com is the email, or just visit hireitdone.com. We are here to help you. We want to find the best contractors in Metro Detroit. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about expectations and what do you do if there's a fight with the homeowner and how to handle it. My name's Adam Helfman. This is Hire It Done on the Beasley Radio Network. Big fire. Brian, tell me a quick history of this house.
So last year on May 18th, Joe, my project manager, my superintendent, and I got a phone call from a former client that their house was on fire. And subsequently, we were on our way to another job. We had to turn around and we came back to the house here. And we rushed over, and there were 4 fire trucks in the driveway putting the fire out that actually started in the second floor. So ironically, just over a year and a couple days, we are now completed with the job, and we've got a couple of little small things to do. And you'll see walking through, the customer has their belongings are moving in, and it came out superb. I mean, just fantastic.
Yeah, we're obviously here in the kitchen, which is the focal point of this house.
Right.
Fantastic. I mean, ridiculously nice. Tell me a little bit about this.
So back when COVID happened in 20 and 21, we were having a hard time getting cabinets. So I reached out to a couple cabinet distributors, and we've got our own line of cabinets that we carry now that are exclusive to us. So as you see these cabinets here, these are our cabinets that we install and we purchase. They've got a multitude of colors. I mean, just crazy color schemes. This one here is called Castleberry White. It's fantastic. It just goes so well with everything that's going on in this house.
It's absolutely magnificent. So when it comes to color coordination, picking of the materials, do you work with the homeowner? Is it the homeowner's decorator? How does this work in your process?
So with my experience, what I kind of do is I sit down with the homeowner and I ask them, like, what kind of colors do you like? Are you into warm tones? Are you into cooler tones? We kind of help them along to make the decision, because sometimes they'll hire an interior decorator and the interior decorator will pick everything out, and at the end of it, they just hate it. And I'm not saying interior decorators don't know what they're doing, but sometimes they just kind of go overboard, so sometimes less is more. Like if you see this color scheme, it kind of, everything flows together.
Simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's interesting. What I noticed when I first walked in is typically, in my experience, when I walk into a fire job, a house that burned out, you're always like, do I smell smoke? This house smells brand new. It smells like there's never been anything here and you built this from scratch. How do you achieve that?
So we pretty much took this house right down to the foundation, or the, I should say the first floor decking. Joe and the crew, they got everything pulled out of here. They rebuilt the walls. The walls in here were so bowed that when you look down the side of them, you couldn't see a guy stand at the other end of the wall. I mean, because the wall, kind of bowed out and you wouldn't be able to see him. Joe got all the walls nice and straight. And then he put the second floor on. So he had all the floor joists going. And then my crew came in and they framed it in. So literally everything in this house is brand new. So, from the foundation to the roof and in between, everything is brand new.
So here we are in the great room of this brand new house that Brian rebuilt after a major fire here in Harrison Township. So Brian, just look at the kitchen, and now you're giving me a tour through here. This is the family room, great room?
It's a great room area. So the great thing about it is my team came in here and we had an awesome idea. If you look over to the right here, there was a wing wall that stuck out 3 feet, and then over to my right here, there was another wing wall that stuck out. And previous to that, there was an electrical panel inside the great room because this was a small cottage addition.
Right.
So they came up with an idea, let's get rid of the wing walls, let's put a header in, let's span the header and open this room up into a really big, expansive, great room, dining room area. So there's really good fit, finish, and flow, which is what I always try to achieve on all my builds with my guys.
Okay, this is fabulous, by the way. That open look is really, really nice.
Yeah, they've got a lot of room for furniture. We did a custom fireplace that we built that was designed and done. Obviously, we've got a TV over it, so it opens the floor space up, and there's plenty of places where people can sit and gather and still be in the conversation of people in the kitchen.
I like the little techniques, the little niceties when you do these floating shelves.
Right.
I see you have a special light above there.
Absolutely, yeah. We put those little LED lights in, so if they want to put some things on there and they want to be able to light.
Welcome back. This is Hired Done. My name's Adam Helfman. And a special good morning and shout out to our friends in Philadelphia and WMMR 93.3 and our new clients out there, Mr. Contractor, Chapman Windows, and Blissful Baths. Loving that. Visit hireitdone.com for all my Philadelphia people. And of course, if you're a contractor and you're hearing this morning, visit hireitdone.com. We're looking for you. We want to help you grow your business share. All you got to do is be a 5-star contractor, have your homeowners brag about you, and we'll do the rest. That's what I'm talking about. So we got Brian Lee here in studio. Yes, Brian?
I just had an epiphany.
What's your epiphany?
Philly cheesesteaks. Are we getting any?
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I'm a foodie.
Did you work that in?
People who know me and you get to learn about me in Philadelphia, you'll know I'm a foodie. Big pizza guy, but Philly cheesesteaks are always good. So we're going to be that way. But here.
Geno's, Jim's.
I know. We'll get all that. Jim's or Geno's.
Isn't the new guy, Skinny Joe?
Joey Merlino.
Yeah, I see his cheesesteaks. I watch his. I love his videos.
Really?
They look great. We gotta get a hold of one.
I'm going to do a site visit in Philly, so we'll be doing that as well. 248-927-1985. Text us if you have a question. If you're in Philly and you want to text us, we'll give you a shout out this morning. 248-927-1985. We have Brian Lee, Metro Home Improvement, one of the best contractors around in the Metro Detroit market, but he's nationally known as well. Brian, we're talking about design build. We're talking about the big room addition, and in the middle of the job, you got homeowners, Mr. and Mrs., and one's asking you to do something, the other one's saying no. You're getting conflicting requests.
Boy, that never happens.
So how do you handle it? What's the best way to, obviously we know the nucleus of successful home improvement is communication.
Right.
So what is the right way to handle this? And for all the homeowners out there, if you have a significant other where you're whispering to the contractor, give me 2 more feet and, let's go with marble. Don't tell them, how do you manage that?
So let's just, for sake of conversation, let's go with this. Hey, Bill, have you spoken to your wife, Nancy, with regards to the changes that you want to make? Because unless both of you are on the same page, I don't want to make that change and then have her flip out and then I got to tear it all out. So I need you both on the same page. So we need to have a meeting, the three of us, to discuss the changes that you're asking me to do to make sure that all of us are happy with the change.
Okay. And so how often does that happen on a
All
project?
the time.
It does happen.
You set your watch to it.
So what would you do? And what is your suggestion or advice to the listeners right now? How can a homeowner who's about to do a big project or thinking about it, how do they avoid that situation where one homeowner is saying one thing and the other is another, and there's a conflict and the contractor's getting frustrated?
The biggest reason that they have it is because on paper, it looks one way. When you design and you build it and you get it put together,
Sure.
and they're in the space, then they're like, oh my gosh, this closet's not going to be big enough, or I need to pull this bathroom out and make it larger. When they get into the space, they physically walk it, that's when this all comes up, right? So I keep an open mind with that, knowing that we're going to have that issue and it's going to come down and we're going to have this conversation.
Okay. And that's fair. It's fair. It's definitely fair enough. So now, what happens when you're upset with the homeowner because they're not making the decision necessary to keep the job going? Meaning, okay, we got the addition and you're doing a luxury vinyl tile or a plank for the flooring.
Right.
And you say to them, look, here's what we've decided. You just need to pick the 2 or 3 colors. Here's the 3 or 4 distributors, or here's the 3 or 4 places. Go online, pick whatever you want, pick your color. And I need to pick by next week because we need to order it. We need to stage it, proper scheduling. And they hem and haw and they flip flop and they delay the decision. And it's starting to get irritating. What's the proper experienced way as a homeowner or a contractor, to manage the homeowner?
Hey, Bill. Hey, Nancy. We set a schedule out that you asked for. And all I needed from you folks was a decision. At this juncture, you missed your window.
Yep.
And if we cannot get that window, we can't get that window agreed upon, we are now going to have to reset this and push it further out because we didn't meet that window. We have other clients and we have to move our contractors from one to the next to the next. And right now, you've missed that window. I can't set somebody else out because you had to contemplate, to consider, to evaluate the decision on the LVP floor, and you only had 3 choices to choose from.
Okay. So decision paralysis, basically, sometimes.
Yeah.
So you just say to them, listen, you're interrupting the rhythm of the work, because here's the thing. In both ways, homeowners too and contractors too, they have amnesia. They forget the delays they created. Then 60 days from now, when they're, we should have been done a month ago. Why, we're waiting on this and waiting on that. One domino impacts everything. Yes.
Yes. I can give you a very short synopsis. I had a client do that to me. So what I did is I sat down, I pulled out all my notes. I went through the timeline, day we started, and every text message and email that he sent me all the way through asking about the job, to the point where he said, this is taking too long. When I shipped it over to him, do you know what his response was?
I'm sorry, or did he ignore it?
Thank you for updating me. I apologize. I was unaware that all those changes that I made have impacted it.
Okay. So with that being said, let's break down what you just said, because that's very stellar advice. And for everyone out there listening right now, homeowners, think about this. Every time you communicate with your contractor, and there's never too much communication, something could be impacted, whether it's a change, a question, or not. There's so many ways to delay a project, but the fact that he acknowledged it is a good thing.
He was a great customer. Obviously, he was frustrated because, things went on. He made a lot of changes. Wife was, hey, why aren't we using the space? Why aren't we doing this? Obviously, that frustration boiled over. He reached out to me.
You became the scapegoat.
I got wide shoulders. So, of course, they're going to pile it on.
Okay, but you're used to it.
Well, yeah, I got 58-inch shoulders. What do you expect?
So, okay, so
I can carry a garbage truck.
Yeah. And by the way, if you guys want to watch the show while you're listening on radio, you can go to hireitdone.com. You can go to Facebook. We're all on live. We're on LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live. You want to listen to our podcast and get more content from us? Hire It Done is everywhere. We're here to help you. We're in Philadelphia now, and we're definitely going to be cheesesteaking it soon as well. That I will tell you.
Don't leave me out on that one. I'm going to be extremely.
We're going to do a site visit.
Let's do a radio show there.
I absolutely plan on doing a home shows.
I'll be your sidekick.
We're loving that, and that's good. It'll be fun. So, Brian, ending the job. Now we're at the end of the job. Homeowner can smell and taste that first meal in the new kitchen, the addition. They're going to have their friends over, and there's like a list of, we'll call it the punch list of, 7, 8, 9 items. At that point, what do you do? Like, what's your process with the punch list?
We come out to the job, we take the punch list, we go over it with my project manager. If there's things that are outside of the scope, like I got to bring back certain trade to do something, we do that. We schedule it. We get with homeowners, say, hey, what day do you have available? Let's get this punch list knocked out so I can get out of your hair and you guys can enjoy your new room addition and your new kitchen.
What if homeowner says, yeah, I know we have to do, there's a knob missing, but we're waiting on a cabinet door and this and that. And the last payment, let's just say is $5,000. And they say, oh, I'm not paying you till all that's done.
Okay. Well, I'm not installing the cabinet door until we get some money from you. And the reason being is because cabinet doors don't cost $5,000. And cabinet knobs don't cost $5,000. So here's the fair thing. You guys hold back $500. You release $4,500. We write a change of contract that states that we come back out, we'll install these items, and that you owe us the $500 upon completion.
Well, that sounds fair to me. But homeowners sometimes they'll go online and someone will say, don't pay the last payment. And they get all this advice and don't pay, including, legal advice. So we came up with a better solution. And you helped me in the verbalization of that.
Right.
We call it usable completion.
Correct. And I also say, hey, Bill, what do you do for a living? He tells me I'm project manager. So if the project isn't completed on Friday, do they not pay you?
Yeah.
At your job?
I got a salary.
Okay. You get paid every week, right?
Correct.
You get paid to show up. So my guys need to get paid as well, right? Because we showed up every day.
Yeah.
We got it to this point. We're missing one cabinet door and a knob.
Yeah.
Okay, so the knobs are $5 and the cabinet door is a warranty issue. Is it fair that you hold back $5,000 and my guys don't get to pay their bills and eat?
And by that time, here's the other thing. I think a homeowner should trust you enough to know because
they do.
Yeah.
It's
psychological.
The scenario that you're giving me, it may happen, but it's going to happen if it was a fight the whole way through with the contractor, and we don't end up with those.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely. Well, and that's the thing. So real quick as we, wind down a little bit, 2026, interest rates have dropped a little bit, but most homeowners are still at the 2-3% mortgages. Why? Yeah. Why would they try and sell their house and get a new one at a higher rate? Don't move, improve. Yes.
Yes, 100%. Why wait to renovate? That's what I'm telling them all. I mean, there was an article released yesterday that, from the National Home Builders Association that January and February, the interest rates are so high that all the new houses are pretty much put on hold. They're at a lull or at a stop.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? Next, coming up in a couple of weeks, we've got rocket companies coming on to talk about equity line of credits, how to pay for your home improvement project, how to get that kitchen, how to finance it, and items like that. So don't forget, friends, HireItDone.com is your one-stop source for all things home improvement. I have been in this business. I'm a 4th-generation contractor. I've been doing this for a really long time, and I've decided to pivot and teach homeowners how to hire contractors so it's hassle-free. That's why I feature companies like Metro Home Improvement. His experience trumps the majority of the contractors out there. And that's what we do here at Hire It Done. We want to find the best of the best. We want to share that information and share it with you. So we do that. Brian, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Okay. And thank you all for tuning in. I'm very grateful. My name's Adam Helfman, and this is Hire It Done on the Beasley Radio Network.